has been a member of the Lagos House of Assembly from as far back as 1999 up to 2015. And also represented Lagos at the federal level as well. That's at the House of Representatives in 2019. All right, I'm going to be, bringing into the microphone, and then we can talk about a whole lot of developing issues. Joining me on the microphone this morning, Honorable Kolawole Taiwo, former member, House of Representatives, and also former Deputy Speaker, Lagos State House of Assembly. Honorable Taiwo, it's nice to have you in the building. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
And you're welcome to Traffic Radio.
Thank you very much.
It's your first time of being here?
Yes.
All right. Do you listen to us?
Sometimes.
Sometimes, when you're in traffic, right?
Yes.
Okay, great. All right, let's just jump in on the conversation because there's a whole lot we're going to be touching on this morning. We will come to issues that surrounds legislative insight. But first thing first, how would you assess governance in Nigeria as it stands today, Honorable Taiwo?
Thank you very much. I'm pleased, not because of anything, but because of where we are coming from. We are coming from a very terrible point. When I was in the National Assembly, we were always worried about where we are going, and particularly when that thing has not even
materialized,
snowballs into problems.
All right.
But towards the end of our own term, 2023,
all right,
you can see a whole lot of things happening in Nigeria together, where suddenly we are not seeing naira on the street again, where people fight to get little one to spend. Even when you have money, you have nothing to spend. You have nothing to rely on.
All right.
And that's where this government started from. And they came up with several policies. And, at first people are saying, why do you want to kill us with all these policies? We should wait. They're supposed to wait for one to materialize for taking orders.
All right.
But some of us believe that those policies need to run side by side to be able to get to where they're going.
So you feel that the APC government has really done well?
Yeah, of course, they've come up with policies that will assist us, and we have started saying it. I told somebody when there was a time like that, they tried to force down the quality and the exchange rate. And while we are discussing, we said this thing cannot stand. You cannot force down the exchange rate.
All right.
If you do it, you will need to spend more to keep it. But the later lesson news, it went up as high as
right,
and almost getting to 2,000. But now, all people that are projecting said we are going to have a relative stable currency this year.
Right.
And the thing has been dropping
gradually.
Small, yes.
Let me bring this to your attention, Honorable Taiwo.
Yeah.
Maybe you might not know that the words on the street out there is that this government came in not really prepared, and that most of the policies that they've come up with are more or less like experimental things which has found us where we are today.
I don't think so.
You don't think so?
No. Somebody that is not prepared, we only take money, we further borrowed money to cushion, to assist Naira. That's the simplest way to run government. You just go and start borrowing money to assist Naira and stabilize it. But this government allowed Naira to fall to the bare minimum. Unaided. They remove subsidy. That is, they allow the pricing of oil, crude and petrol and everything to come to their normalcy unaided. And they started from there. Right. You can see that for the first time in Nigeria, nobody talk about scarcity of petrol again. We only talk about the price. It's like when you are talking about power. Nobody really talk about non-availability of electricity power. But they talk about the tariff.
Right. And so how would you defend that?
Yes.
How would you defend that? I mean, if the cost of living has been at an astronomically high level, I mean, never experienced in 40 years, if the interest rate has risen, if we have food inflation up to 40%, how would you now describe this to the average Nigerian that these are not the hardest of times?
I'm not saying, I'm not comparing times. I'm comparing the performance. See what I'm saying? Let me get there. now we are not talking about scarcity of those things. In those days that we are referring to, that those things are cheap, we don't see them. There are sometimes that you will not see electricity for several days, and they will still bring estimated bill to your door, and you will pay for what you don't really see. Now we are seeing, though it's graded, if you happen to find yourself in band A, right, you will pay more. You pay more and you enjoy the electricity more. Right. Though we are not allowed to determine which band we really want to be, but the government decided to just scale all those things, particularly looking at the industrial areas where you have some industries and some factories around, and they grade them because they needed those electricity more than even the household.
Some have described this government as a government of tariffs and tariffs and tariffs. I mean, there are lots of things. Growing up,
my brother, running government, you need taxes. You can look at the invention of taxes are done because of scarcity. When people that are running the government doesn't have money, they now came up with that to assist. Therefore, those things you are referring to are not easy to come by,
right?
And they need money, and they cannot borrow money. You know, we are pushing them to a stage where we don't want borrowing, though they try to defend it that we can borrow, but we don't want. People like us, we say we don't want to do the government of tomorrow today.
Yeah, but the government of President Tinubu is still borrowing money.
No, but let me. The borrowing is going down. And secondly, there are repayment going on. I remember Tinubu is not new to this. When he came to government of Lagos, he borrowed money. He borrowed money to start his program.
You were part of the government then, right?
Yes,
From 1999 as a legislator.
I was there. Then they were abusing us daily that the government is slow, the government not performing. He had to kickstart the program. He went to commercial bank to borrow a short-term loan. Then when we started seeing the growth, then we now turn it from short time to a long time loan.
Right.
And before he left government, he paid all his debt. So that's why I'm not. I know him.
So you are very, very confident in the Tinubu government.
My brother, there is sinking fund already that are meant for the repayment, which is good for us.
Let's tilt the conversation a bit to your own constituency now. Let's narrow this assessment to your immediate constituency, which is the legislative arm. How would you say we're performing in this 10th National Assembly?
Well, you know the problem with legislative arms. When you are cooperative, they will say you are rubber stamp. When you are a little bit difficult to crack, they will say it's just disturbing the executive.
Right.
But therefore, to judge a good house must be able to balance the two, because though the constitution says independence, but the constitution that talks about independence of arm also talks about interdependent of them. When you came up with an act, it won't have the bite of law until the president will assent to it.
Right.
Though if the president refuses assent, the house can veto it, but with a huge number of people, because at that time you will need 2/3 members,
right,
which is about 240 in the House of Reps. It's not easy to come by, and to veto that. But there is an interdependence. It's even not possible for government executive to kickstart the government without sending their ministers to the House of Senate.
Right. So, but I mean, won't you say, because like you said now, a lot of times people assess the legislative arm based on performance, and some have said this particular 10th Assembly is more or less like what some keen observers have described it, a rubber stamp. Virtually everything that comes from the presidency is passed with speed.
My brother, I've been at the National Assembly. I know that National Assembly is anything but rubber stamp. It's a very difficult place to go, because before your voice can be heard, you will struggle and struggle.
Okay, let's look at the budget that was just passed this week.
Yeah.
Okay, so 2 days ago, the budget of 54.99 trillion was eventually passed by the National Assembly, concurrent passage by both the House of Reps and the Senate. Now, before then, I mean, the budget size was supposed to be 47.9, and then there was an insertion within the space of 2-3 weeks. So, what do you think? I mean, don't you think the National Assembly should have queried most of those areas, most of the inputs?
My brother, when we have economy like ours that lacks a lot of infrastructure, there are so many things not working as expected or compared to some advanced world, and we want to meet them. Nigeria doesn't want to come last. Nigeria doesn't want to even be second. Nigeria want to be first in virtually everything. We need to spend money to be able to even correct something. And second, couple the fact that Naira is still being managed. Naira is being treated. Naira is being pushed in quality. We want to make Naira. We want to strengthen the quality of Naira, but at the same time, we cannot overlook what the level at which Naira is today.
All right.
Naira is weak, and if you Naira of last year, Naira of today is even better than Naira of last year.
So are we doing enough? Are we doing enough to strengthen the Naira?
Of course, there are some. One of the things that we must do to strengthen Naira is to look inward. And that is what the president said. The president reduced the business of oil to Naira and Kobo for the first time. That is about removing the burden of about 40% need of foreign exchange from the table. And that's supposed to strengthen Naira. But our own behavioral pattern, the typical Nigerian,
all right,
if you are not careful, people will bring Naira to buy off those gain. Those are difficult, people, and therefore, using all these forums, we must be able to let people know that it's better for you to save in Naira than to save in foreign currency.
Right. So,
because saving in foreign currency amounts to killing Naira.
Which is true, and some have said, to strengthen the Naira, we need to do much more in terms of production and in terms of things that are coming into our country. So I hope that the policies will be able to strengthen that. But I'm just looking through, and what the observers are saying, 54.99 trillion. It will require a whole lot in terms of funding for us to be able to meet up with that budget.
Have you forgotten that in Lagos,
do we have the discipline, the financial discipline?
That is it. I mean, in Lagos, we do ambitious budget. When I remember when President Bola came into government as governor, the budget of Lagos was 14 billion.
In 1999?
1999. And in September, he came up with a supplementary budget of 19 billion, moving it from 14 to 19 billion. He added 5 billion. And at the end of that year, the new budget was 45 billion. I remember then they call it quantum leap. And that has been the...
So that has been his trademark?
Yes. He will come up with an ambitious budget. And he will push everyone. Not that when somebody come up with a very small budget and you come back and say you have scored 90%, you are performing. It's not even when in our situation we need a budget that will not perform more than 70%.
Right.
Therefore, I'm okay with what is happening.
All right. So you've given the assembly good score, and you said most of the legislative arms that we have, they're doing well. I mean, let's look through the states. If the national, you say they have performed at the state level, what is happening to most of the legislative arms that we have? I mean, as we speak today, a state like Rivers, the crisis is still very much on there. There are some other states that are facing huge challenges. I mean, in terms of, their strength, they are mostly reduced to, what would I call it now? They take some kind of feedbacks from the executive, and they are mostly used. So would you say those state houses of assembly are really, really performing their legislative functions?
Government is not about the executive and legislature alone. There is the third leg, the judiciary. Well, if there is conflict like the one in Rivers, judiciary need to step up boldly, which they have done for the first time. That they said you cannot remove the legislators anyhow, because it's unfair to even the people that voted for the governor of Rivers to be using only 2 or 3 or 4 legislators to run the state. And the judiciary has spoken, we know that governance is not one thing the way people are looking at it. There's a lot of bargaining, there's a lot of jojo, there's a lot of underwater lobbying that comes to it. And when you take that out of responsibility, you must be ready to lobby them. You must be ready to let them see, not even lobby. Because when you're talking of conflict, conflict has always been there. I always tell people that today is only Lagos House Speaker, the only one that I've seen, that I've heard of, that signed a bill into law is Lagos. That is Speaker Mamora, the later senator.
Right.
He was the only one that had the privilege of signing a bill into law, because there was a serious conflict between us and the current president there.
At that time.
And we resolved it because the leader called everybody. I said, yes, we have done what we want to do. Let me now tell you my own reason. Right. And then let us see some difficulties in what we have done.
And what law was that? I mean, what
that
kind of conflict?
Constituency development law. You know, the funniest thing, and that law was picked by the Senate president, took to federal level. They passed it, and that's why they have those funds, those intervention funds for constituencies at the federal level. You know, but the law, our governor said no, it's not going to pass. We passed it, and it let us realize that. So
the House of Assembly passed it.
Yes,
without the accent of the governor at that time.
Yeah, we even withheld the accent. We veto it. He withheld the accent, and we veto it.
Right.
It became so law.
So that was when the assembly was really performing its oversight function.
That time they said we are confronting the governor. You know, that's the problem. I have said something like that. I said when you are doing the job the way you're supposed to do, like the way you think they should do, they will say they have started constituting problems.
So let me ask you now, Hon Kolawole. I mean, the talk around town is a lot of times before laws are passed, there's always Ghana must go back.
I was in National Assembly for 4 years.
Talk to me.
I was in National Assembly.
Are you saying that there are no inducements?
My brother, I was in National Assembly for 4 years. I didn't see Ghana must go. You know, when we got there, it has been reformed. Like Buhari. You know, Buhari had this outlook of somebody that would not tolerate exchange of Ghana must go and everything, and they stopped it before we got there.
Okay.
I was told that there was a time that Baba Basanjo sent money but you know, if you go to National Assembly, you will laugh.
Right.
On the corridor of National Assembly, you will never see anybody. Everybody closes his doors. And the light was so bright that you will not even know that time is going. Lagos
Traffic Radio 96.1 FM. This morning, we're answering the leadership question in challenging times, and Honorable Kolawole Taiwo, former member House of Representatives and also former Deputy Speaker, Lagos State House of Assembly, is taking us to the classroom this morning. Let's get back to the roads, and we can still tell you most of the areas that we're covering at this time still looking pretty cool. Do not forget the Access City Marathon is still very much on. Access Bank City Marathon, and I can tell you the Third Milan Bridge is definitely not open to traffic at this time, so you need to take note of that. Those of you that are making that journey, you have to go on Ikorodu Road if you want to connect the island. Ikorodu Road is your best bet. The Third Milan Bridge is cordoned off for now due to that particular race. All right, serious accident called comprising 3 vehicles. Yes, that's a Nissan car and 2 others at a Jingule turning point with 1 casualty. The casualty has been taken to the hospital. Policemen on ground to move the vehicles after the road. Of course, no effect on traffic at the moment, so you need to take note of that. That message came in just 5 minutes ago. All right, I also allow you to join the conversation this morning, and that will be on 080-99120777, 09153877127. Honorable Kolawole Taiwo, let's get back to this. Lagos State is your immediate constituency.
Yep.
And in recent time, we've had 1 or 2 issues, especially on the change of baton for the leadership of that particular house. You rose to the position of Deputy Speaker during your time, right?
Yep.
So talk to me. There have been lots that have been said about the change, of baton there. Now we have a female speaker, the very first in the country. First time we're having a female speaker, right, lead the house. What do you think of the issues that have been going on with the Lagos State House of Assembly?
Well, in the House of Assembly, I know that one of the things that we do as a member of House of Assembly is to plan coup.
It's a plan coup.
To always, if you are not doing it well, you want to remove it. Yeah, well, yes, but experience have taught us. Me, if I'm a member of any house, experience has taught me that is not always the best way to go. It should be the last resort. Okay. It's part of our powers. You can change our leadership, but it should not be something that we can easily just say tap your finger and you remove the leader. We're supposed to think over it. You
worked with Honorable Mudashiru Obasa.
Yes.
For several years. I mean, you were there from 1999 to 2015.
He came in 2003.
Right.
And he was my neighbor. I was in room 4. When he came in, he was in room 3.
Right.
And since then, we have been very close.
And at the point, he became the leader of the house. Mm-hmm. That was when you were leaving.
Yes.
Right? Mm-hmm. So tell me, when you assess the assembly under his leadership, how would you rate it?
My brother, I will not deceive you. He even shocked people like us that because he wasn't in line for that position. It was because of the result from my own constituency that the position was thrown open to all members. And he became speaker from outside. He wasn't part of the leadership at all.
So he
was chairman of appropriation committee.
Okay.
Prior to being the speaker. Therefore, when he assumed the position, we are shocked. Everybody was panicking. Can this guy
really
carry on fine? Particularly taking off from one extremely determined personality of Kufuoriji.
All right.
And he surpasses all our expectation. He built the house. He was able to control the whole house beyond what I even feel I can do.
All right.
And he introduces so many things, and we cannot we cannot remove the fact that he has done the best
that he can do.
All
right. So, would it be? I mean, do you think it's fair the way he was removed?
That's what I'm saying. I cannot say it's fair or not because I am not a member of the house. I must be very careful. It's only the member of the house that can come and say this is the reason why they did what they have done. Therefore, we from outside we may be saying, they shouldn't have let this era end this way. An experienced speaker of not one term, of 2 terms, and was removed during his 3rd term. They are supposed to we are looking forward to when he will break the records of Kufuoriji. Kufuoriji was also there for 2 terms and 10 years, 2 terms and a half.
Right.
And this happened. But to God be the glory. Anything that happens to a man is just supposed to be an experience for the future.
Yeah, but he says he was unjustly removed and he wants to come back.
Well, in his opinion, he can argue it that they should have given him the fair hearing when they have alleged that they should have given him a platform to explain. And if they still feels that is his opinion. But in the house, I always tell people that there is, we are the most fortunate set. That is the 4th set. We are very fortunate. That's 1999 set.
All right.
And then we see it as unfavorable, but later it becomes an asset. Our election was January 9th, 1999.
Right.
And we did not assume office on the June 2nd of the same year, which means we were home for almost 6 months. And during that period, we set an agenda for ourselves. We moved around the whole state, even to outside Nigeria. I mean, outside Lagos.
Lagos, all right.
To meet former legislative, strong voice in Nigeria who are with even Baba Abraham Adesanya. We know we tap all their experiences, and even the incoming governor also assisted us because I know I first met with the immediate past, the vice president at UNILAG, where we were sent there to understudy legislative process and procedure and everything, and we, at the end of those things, we agree with ourselves that legislation has a lot of powers, but we must agree with ourselves that there are some of these powers that we need to drop even before commencing.
Let's
so one of those powers,
right? Go ahead.
Is that the legislature can start impeachment proceeding of anybody, just saying that that person has committed gross misconduct.
Right.
And gross misconduct is not defined. It's as defined by the people that want to remove you. Therefore, if they say that because you didn't put on cap, you have committed the gross misconduct.
All right, let's take this call. Hello there, good morning.
Yes, good morning.
All right, who am I speaking with?
Shegun.
Shegun, where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Sule.
Okay, go ahead.
I just want to ask the Honorable in the studio.
All right.
So how can leaders rebuild trust when confidence in leadership is low? How can they rebuild the trust in the citizens when confidence
is very, very low?
When the confidence in leadership is very low.
Right.
How can they
Thank you
rebuild
so much,
trust?
Shegun, for that one. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
All right. So, Honorable Taiwo, I mean, what do you think? How can
so
leaders...
when the confidence in leadership is low, your antecedent, the person assuming the leadership must first of all show his antecedent that he has done, he can do it. Then what he is doing. What he's doing. It's difficult to explain what you are doing before the result.
Okay.
And that is the most difficult aspect of rebuilding the trust in people. But when you started saying it, but you must be the person must be very determined and must be focused. When you started seeing what he's doing, the result, then you build up the leadership trust again.
All right then. Some questions are coming in here for you. This one says, "Good morning, sir. My layman questions for our guest. 1, please ask our guest why the citizens are made scapegoats to bear the brunt of high cost of governance." Okay, let's take this call. Hello there, good morning.
Hello, good morning, Mr. Victor.
Good morning. This is Andrew.
Let me call the guest. Yes, Andrew, let me call the guest HKT.
HKT,
my brother, how are you?
He should know who is calling.
Yeah.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
Because I can understand from the point of view he is coming from. Because experience, they say, is the best teacher. For me, it's a good teacher.
Right.
He answered that question. The person there can argue his own case. He has given an answer, can argue his own case.
Right.
But if you look at it, they went for, when I say they, HKT, the first assembly, I was following them up right from the first regime, I would say 1999, first regime.
Right.
They were going for training and retraining. I know they go overseas, they go to understudy other countries too in Africa and so on. They started a trend that all other states in Nigeria are following in the House of Assembly.
Okay.
It's just unfortunate this type of thing happen now. But to me, I will not judge. It's a good thing. We disagree to agree and then forge ahead. Thank you. Good morning, sir.
Thank you so much, Andrew from Maltu.
Thank you.
All right. He seems to know you so well.
Yeah.
All right. But let's get back to this question. It says, please ask our guests, why the citizens are made scapegoat to bear the brunt of high cost of governance. It says high salaries for both government, political leaders, past and present, are damn too high. It says, how can he explain to us why agencies like customs, immigrations, and others declare huge incomes, yet people aren't feeling any relief? 3, he said, what is the government spending looted funds being recovered by EFCC? On what is the government spending looted funds being recovered by EFCC? This is sent in by Olu Aloko. It's a potpourri of questions, by the way. So he has so many things in stock for you.
Olu what?
Olu Aloko.
Thank you very much, Olu. Well, I don't think there is a government that will want to enslave its people, because the democracy doesn't make you a perpetual leader. You will need to go back to people to renew your mandate. and the government knows that at a point in time they will need to still go back and meet those people. And therefore, you cannot encourage people and think you are doing government. No, but for some time, if you know that this thing, if you don't follow this route,
right,
we may not get out of it. We just be pushing the evil day.
Yeah. So what people are saying,
and you can see the president came back and started putting when we notice this inflation in consumables, particularly the food items. The president removed tariffs on some of those things, and therefore, when you are even talking about custom returns, the tariff holiday will also affect the custom returns.
Definitely.
And now that the president also introduces the student loan for the first time in Africa.
Yes.
So and and what that means is that as a parent, immediately you push your child to a university or higher institution level, you can assess it for him.
Right.
And he will not pay back until he has a gainful employment.
All right.
And those are things that they are using to cushion the effect of the day.
Right.
And if you look at what is happening in virtually all the local government, there's a lot of programs going on to cushion the effect.
Right. This one says, what are the biggest mistakes leaders make during crisis, and how can they avoid them? Edward, thank you so much for this question. So, what do you think are some of the biggest mistakes?
Well, some of them may decide to be rigid to what has brought in the crisis. Some will open it up for discussion. I remember when I was at National Assembly, and there is this NSAS problem going on in my constituency. They are calling me, they have burned down this, they have burned down that. For the first time in my life, I opened myself to Facebook. I put something on my wall, and people are now commenting. I'm replying them. I now promise them that when I come back, we will have a town hall meeting, which we actually did, and people came out. We had discussion about it, and we all agreed that never again will we burn down any of our infrastructure. I'm from Ajegule, and I know how difficult it is for us to get infrastructure
in that
area.
Right.
And if you now burn the little ones we are having, then it's unfortunate. And we all agree that we will not do that again.
All right. This one says, good morning, Honorable Taiwo. What's the most effective way for leaders to communicate during a crisis? Bidemi.
I'll give you an example of what I did then. Okay. But the president is, for the first time in the annals of Nigeria, when the president came back for the last holiday, there's a media chat. The media chat, even those media people confess that it's unguided. And that is what we wanted. You know, they were given free opportunity to ask him any question. And that is one way by which you can.
Let's take this call. Let's take this call quickly. Hello there. Good morning.
Yeah, Andrew again.
Okay.
I'm not saying HKT, he tried his best. He has his own shortcomings too.
Okay.
In the whole of Ajegule, though they say population, Ajegule is the most populated community in Africa. I stand to be corrected. Mr. Victor, I've told you that before. I have my own. This is because I was born there.
Your own data.
Number two, during NSAS, the whole thing, the burning started from Ajegule. And the first place that was, we also resuscitated or renovated was from Ajegule. And the best road in the whole of Ajegule as a whole, down to Apapa, is in where HKT came from.
Wow.
And I'm not saying, Oga like better to know.
So he's a legislator with lots of influence on his economy and his community as well. All right. This one says, sir, what advice would you give to one that is aspiring to be a leader? You didn't put your name, but thank you so much.
There is this popular thing that I always say, particularly the political aspirants, that if you want to be a leader, that's political leader, you must be ready to join politics, join a party.
You mean it?
Yes.
If I want to have much more influence, I have to join a party.
You must join, because in Nigeria there is no chance for independent candidacy. Somebody must carry the flag of a political party.
Okay.
2, you must be ready to work, to sacrifice. You know, there are so many things going on in political circle that somebody that want to aspire will not put his head. Take for instance, they bring money to meetings, and you that want to contest, you are the first to say, share the money, share the money. The people will be looking at you.
Okay.
And they will be pinning you down.
So there must be levels of integrity.
Yes.
All right.
And secondly, if you are given opportunity, that is the most important. Let me just say it.
Right.
If you are given opportunity at any level, you must make sure that you discharge that opportunity in a manner that will recommend you.
All right. This one says, good morning, Victor and Honorable Taiwo. How can political leaders work together across party lines to solve Nigeria's problems?
They are doing it. They are doing it currently. Currently, the governors of Southwest are in Lagos.
Right.
There are some things that will make them to sit together if you really want to do development. But in our own space here, people want to attack and attack and attack. Right. Take for instance, a few days ago at the federal level, some of our past leaders that have been part of this problem, they are the ones that came out and criticizing the manner of governance and trying to provide solution to the problem created by them.
Maybe they are standing as an opposition. That's why.
Yes. That is. He said, how can opposition come together and try to? And that's why I'm saying, yes, they can. I have given you an example of what is happening in Lagos.
Let's begin to take this home this morning because of time constraints. So, Honorable Kola Taiwo, should we be expecting you in any political? Are you going to be contesting anytime soon?
I don't know. I don't know. But at least I've contested elections. I've contested elections since 1996 to date.
As legislator.
Except this last one that my photo is not part of the ballot paper. My name wasn't there.
So you're not
in 1996 till date, I've been contesting, and I won severally, and I also lost some.
All right. So you're not thinking of coming on?
I don't know. I'm not saying I'm not thinking of, but for now,
it's not part of the agenda yet.
Yes.
All right. We're here all the time. We'll be tracking you, and we're letting you know things. But as we depart the program this morning, what's your parting thought?
Well, I'm so happy with what I've seen. This is my first time coming to this studio, and that is studio monitoring. I know sometimes my driver will put it on and put it there if we're having problem with traffic. Right. But I've not seen them live. I thank the Lagos State government for providing this. Right. I also want to tell Nigerians, it's not easy to be a leader. It's not easy to be a leader when there is crisis, because you need to think, and there is no leader, no matter how small the leadership role, that would think that imperishing or putting pressure honestly on his people is the way forward. But if he needs to do it like what is happening in Lagos today, because of the marathon, the people are subjected to using only Ikorodu road, because we want to achieve what we want to achieve.
Right.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for being here. We really want to appreciate you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right. So I've been speaking with Honorable Kola Taiwo, aka HKT, and of course he's a Nigerian politician who has made significant contributions to the country's legislative landscape. We have to go this morning. Mike James has produced, and also in the building we have what's his name? Okay. All right, Kunle Martins also working behind the scene to ensure that this program is on stream. Thank you so much. Maximum shout out going out to Remy Aluko, Afe John, Okpayemi Shodunke, all of them working from the social media team. And our executive producer is Tayo Akonle. My name is Victor Oteri. Have a splendid weekend. Bye.
Yes, I want to know which way Nigeria is heading to. Which way Nigeria? Which way Nigeria? Which way to go? Which way to go? I love my fatherland. Oh yeah.